please visit our sponsor, goldsilver.com, for all your precious metals needs. That's goldsilver.com. Enter promo code AMTV free ship for free shipping through the end of March. Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green. You're tuning into AMTV, Alternative Media Television. It is, of course, Tuesday, March 11, 2014, and breaking news regarding the missing Malaysian airplane that has just disappeared into thin air, pulling off a Houdini act, almost like it was wearing an invisibility cloak. Of course, we reported extensively on the linkage of the 20 individuals working for a firm in high technology that creates and manufactures these types of materials that can be used and are sold to the Department of Defense, the DoD, and raising an eyebrow as to what potentially, possibly could happen to an airplane that goes missing in a world of high technology and hundreds, thousands, if not tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of spy satellites circling the planet Earth and faraway planets, including Mars, that just can't find an airplane that goes completely undetected, loses radar, and then, according to the Malaysian military, allegedly flies hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles west when it should be flying northeast without detection, without a single distress signal or any information coming from the plane, and a lack thereof of any statistics, data, or location assistance from the numerous black boxes and other high tech that is on board these giant jumbo craft aircraft in case of an emergency just like this, with 239 passengers missing. Now the Iranian government, and Iranian lawmakers specifically, is blaming the United States for the plane's disappearance and alleging and accusing the United States of having kidnapped Flight 370, saying it was an attempt to sabotage the relationship between Iran and China in Southeast Asia. Now, of course, we reported on the linkage of the two travelers, Iranian nationals, that have flown with illegal passports, not to mention there was more than two people being investigated. And we reported on this as being propaganda, and there being a clear motive for the West to use this as propaganda to pin China, which has experienced countless terrorist attacks recently, with a knife attack killing dozens and wounding hundreds recently in a September 11th slaying via knives, to somehow pin China against one of its allies, Iran. Now, keep in mind, this has also been providing a giant smokescreen for the escalation of war in the Ukraine, which has been entirely stimulated and manufactured, choreographed really by the United States and Western governments to integrate Ukraine into the global infrastructure known as the New World Order. Now we have more confirmation from an Iranian lawmaker and the Iranian government accusing the United States of literally sabotaging this plane, kidnapping it, using it as some form of psychological warfare on the American people, the Chinese government, again, to pin China against Iran as we build up to war here in the Ukraine. And also notice again how much of a smokescreen this Malaysian missing airplane cover-up has actually been. And of course, we're not getting all the facts. We're clearly not getting all the information. This is one of the largest cover-ups that we have ever seen, largest aviation mystery that we have ever seen, really arguably in history, that makes people like Houdini rise up and clap erratically for the disappearing act of a lifetime, a plane that just suddenly goes missing. It makes you wonder if this plane has been diverted, it's been downed somewhere, if the people and the passengers are still alive, if the United States have been planning this all along as some kind of psychological and physical warfare in this global geopolitical chess movement, in chess game, in war against the government of Vladimir Putin, and China, Iran specifically, versus the United States and the European Union and EU interests. According to this Iranian lawmaker, the parliamentarian Hussein Nagavi Husseini, who is a spokesman for the Foreign Policy Committee, responded to the news on Tuesday that two Iranian nationals have been traveling on the missing flight holding stolen passports. He says this accusation was a plot, and he says that the documents published by the Western media about these two Iranians getting on the plane without passports is psychological warfare. Americans recruit some people for such kinds of operations so they can throw the blame on other countries, especially Muslim countries, he said. Thousands of Iranians, if not more, wait in Asian countries with friendly visa rules to make journeys to the West, into Australia, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia in particular, are popular springboards for middle-class Iranians. Again, this isn't new news. This happens all the time. Interpol, the global police agency, has confirmed this. They're now denying the possible linkage of these two Iranian nationals as terrorists. So once they reported on it, now they're denying it. Again, very convenient propaganda. Also here, they say with the fate and location of the missing Malaysia Airlines jet still unexplained on Tuesday, the police were investigating the possibilities of hijacking, sabotage, and possible psychological or personal problems among the crew and passengers. Again, this is breaking news, folks. I can't help but corroborate this is likely truth. More and more the evidence is pointing the direction, linking the West to a giant nefarious cover-up. Of course, there are war games in Ukraine as the war is boiling over, this psychological warfare, this propaganda warfare, this choreographing, positioning the United States and the EU somehow as victims when really they're the perpetrators and aggressors, just like they have been in Iraq and Afghanistan and other wars in the Middle East. Now in the Ukraine, as we pony up for war and the U.S. and propaganda interests try to garner international support against presumed terrorists, when really this looks like anything but the truth. And again, this just being corroborated, breaking news from an Iranian lawmaker. Of course, the Malaysian military has tracked this missing plane, has also corroborated reports that there was a mysterious diversion before losing radio contact, flying well below traveling altitude for hundreds and hundreds of miles without a single distress signal or warning, almost like it completely disappeared with an invisibility cloak. And of course, I mentioned the 20 passengers that work for the very secretive firm that is responsible for some of these Department of Defense materials that can create these smoke screens and create this kind of invisibility. This is very real, prudent technology being used by global governments, ranging from Israel to the United States to Europe, really across the globe. Also, a local aviation expert says he thinks the search for the Malaysian airliner is off course completely, that they're just entirely looking in the wrong spots. Again, all of this is extremely fishy, mysterious, doesn't add up, and I think what more Americans and you citizens around the world tuning in and getting this information out to millions of people around the world realize you're not getting all the information, and this is part of a much larger cover-up of the truth. And, you know, God knows if these passengers on board are still alive. Our prayers and thoughts, of course, are with them. Help us get this information, this vital information, out to the viewing public. I'm Christopher Green, hard-hitting in your face. Of course, you're tuning into AMTV, Alternative Media Television.